peers are fearless. They're not afraid of these devices. They're not afraid of this technology. They're connected. But the thing is, I'm scared because they're going to go to school in a teacher-centered, standards-based world. And I'm worried about that because that's not who she is. So here's the thing, non-negotiable. These kids are coming to our classrooms. And I know what you're thinking. She's super cute, right? She is. She's really cute. I mean, hello. But you're also thinking, we've got a long way before the class of 2030 shows up. We've got a long way before we get a Rosie in our classroom. You're right, we do have a long way before we get a Rosie in our classroom. So let's talk about the students we have today. Because before we learn names on the first day of school, there's something that we should know about our kids. Something that they're not going to tell us, and the admissions application is not going to tell us. Okay? But I'm going to tell it to you today. I'm going to tell you something about your kids that you should know before they walk into the room. So, here it comes. This is what you should know. Pretty interesting stuff. Here are your students, because I'm pretty sure all of you teach high school. Here are your students. And this is the technology that has revolutionized our lives and has been a huge part of theirs and their development. This is how old they were when these tools came to life. Here are my students. I teach middle school kids. I teach 7th grade and a sprinkle of 6th graders this year. And here are the 2 devices that changed my life as an adult. I can't even begin to imagine how it's changed theirs because they have literally grown up with this stuff. What's interesting to note is the amount of major change that has occurred during the beginning of these kids' lives. And what is interesting is how they kind of just roll with it. They're like used to it. Change, learning new things quickly, upgrading, enhancing, updating to the newest iOS, that's nothing to them. They just do it. They figure it out and they go with it. Actually, my students are the ones that are constantly pestering me about, did I update to the new iOS? No, I haven't. I don't have time for that. Well, why not? Because you can do this, and I can show you how to use this. They're the ones that are keeping me on my toes. They're comfortable using technology, but that doesn't mean that they know how to use it for learning. They know how to use it for personal, they know how to use it for fun, but that doesn't mean that they know how to use it for learning. And that's the most important part, because what a powerful tool we have in front of us. So here's the thing, as these technologies continue to pop up on a regular basis, and this is just some of it, I mean there's more of this, the young kids become a lot more pliable. See, my school's 6th through 12, and like I said, I teach 6th and 7th graders this year. Every other year at Trinity, I taught both in the middle and we call it upper school. I taught both in the middle and the upper school. So I got to see both kinds of kids. And last year was a very interesting year for me because it's the first time that I actually said to myself, this is the year that I'm going to get it together and I'm going to start transforming the way that I teach. And I was able to compare and contrast the responses from the high school kids and the middle school kids. My high school kids weren't interested, okay? They weren't interested. Maybe it was a high school thing, because you know it's the age. They're not interested in much. Anything tech related, they fought me on it. They didn't want to do it. And I wonder if it's the age, I wonder if it's the program, the one-to-one program was pretty new, so we still had some growing pains. But I also wonder if it's exposure. They hadn't been exposed in their high school career, in their education really, to these devices being a part of their learning experience. So I had to almost teach them. I was like kind of teaching an old dog new tricks. And it was tough. Because then I'd have 2 periods out of the day where I taught very eager 12 and 13-year-olds who were way more flexible, really wanted to do anything with the computer. They didn't care. If they saw the computer cart in the classroom, they were excited. That's all I had to do was roll the cart in, as they were excited. And they almost craved it a little bit more than my high school kids did. But here's what happens. I know you don't teach middle school, but guess who's coming to your classroom next? My middle school kids are coming to your classroom. And they're coming just as eager and just as excited. So let's keep the momentum going. And I know that we're all transforming. I know we're making it happen. Here are our classrooms way back when. I think I took an SAT in this classroom, probably. Because all the desks are right-handed people desks, and I'm a left-handed people. And I remember I was at Southwest Middle School, and this is what it looked, or Southwest Middle School, that's in Orlando. Southwest High School, here. And I had to take the SAT in a right-handed desk as a left-handed person with my ginormous graphing calculator and my 17 pencils and my chocolate that my mom packed for me, because you had to have a snack. And on that, that was not a good testing experience. But that was a side story. That has nothing to do with that slide. But we are transforming. We transformed from rows and lecture halls to kind of being like, all right, I'll put my desks in groups. I'll let the kids work in groups. I remember when I went to undergrad and I was starting to work on some of my minor work in education, I said, I will never put them in groups. If they're in groups, they're going to talk. They should be listening to me. I'm the genius. I will never put them in groups. So we start to put them in groups. We start to get a little brave. We get even braver and we put them in a circle. And we have, you know, a Socratic seminar and we talk about things like that, and we open up the room a little bit. Or if you're a little wild like me, you remove your desk completely from the room and just throw yourself in there with the kids. I have no desk. I chose to have no desk. You may not want to do that, but I enjoy it. We've seen all sorts of technology slowly make their way into our classrooms, some by force, some not. And we see the kids embrace it, some by force, high school children, some not, middle school children. But ultimately, the point of the story is we've seen change. We've all seen this happen. Great and powerful change. Change that's going to revolutionize what we teach, how we teach, where we teach it, and more, I'm sure. A change that's supposed to foster and encourage critical thinking, innovation, creativity, asking why. All these wonderful, wonderful changes. Our kids, we're going to push them through this journey. We're going to teach them to be digital learners. So why do our classrooms still look like this? Picture taken yesterday at my school. Not at this school, my school. Why do some of our classes still look like this? Okay, there's technology. There it is. Desks are bigger. I would have loved to take the SAT on that bad boy, right? Desks are bigger. Okay, there's technology. Okay. But doesn't this kind of look like that? Right? So why are we so afraid to really, truly change? It's scary. It's scary stuff. These young and connected, that's Rosie's sonogram picture, by the way. That's why I was so big. These young and connected, anytime, anywhere, any device people, they're already here. The 2-year-old and the 12-year-old, they're already here. It's time to evolve, it's time to take the step, and it's time to start the journey to transformation. That's what we're doing here today, unless you're forced to be here. That's what you're forced to be here doing today, okay? Gearing up, getting the knowledge, getting pumped, ready to try something new. And not because somebody told you so, and not because it's cool, but because it's what the kids need. That's kind of why we do what we do. Because that's what the kids need. It's the language they speak, whether you believe it or not, whether they believe it or not. It's the language they speak. I recently attended a conference here in November called Miami Device. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it was over at St. Stephen's. And the keynote speaker, he's a big ed tech big wig in the ed tech world guy. His name's Kevin Honeycutt. And he said something that really, truly stuck with me. He said that as teachers, it's not about giving up the traditional ways that you teach. It's not. There are valuable traditional practices. I teach math, so I have many traditional practices that I truly still believe in. And it's not about giving up the traditional and going super digital. But there are still really cool digital tools out there that enhance the traditional practice. So he coined the term, be tradigital. As soon as he said that, I went, what? I like that. Tradigital. Yes. That explains it. Because I can't stand up here and say to you, I'm super innovative. I'm not super innovative. There are days where the iPads and the laptops don't even come out in the classroom. And it's just good old-fashioned getting together, talking to each other, talking to me, sitting in a circle, sitting on the floor, sitting wherever as long as we're talking. Right? So tradigital means to find the sweet spot. Find the sweet spot between the traditional and the digital. That's kind of the way I operate. I don't want to say I'm super innovative. I am not super traditional. I am right in the middle. I'm tradigital, and I think that's what our kids need. They need that sweet spot, and we need to help them find the balance between that sweet spot. So here's a tradigital look into my classroom. I'm going to use these apps to explain this to you, okay? I can give a great lecture. One of the things I teach is solving multi-step equations.